The industry, piece to camera, slate 1, take 2. Action.
Hi, I'm Rachel Emily Eaton, and this is The Industry. As filmmakers, we wanted to explore what the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of decent work means to the film industry. We interviewed filmmaking students and 2 industry experts to investigate the challenges, opportunities, and stability that graduate filmmakers will have to face in the current age.
Slate 2. 1, take 1. Take 1.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and I created Lounge Trip.
My name's Sam. I do some lecturing here at NTU, but when I'm not here, I'm an assistant editor and an editor for films and documentaries.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I'm a filmmaking student.
What is Lounge Trip?
So Lounge Trip is a collective of filmmakers and film fans, mainly based in Nottingham, and the goal is to help young people get into film, and the way we do that is by putting on screenings at Broadway cinema and different venues.
How much threat do you think the rise of AI poses for job stability in the industry?
I think it's obviously a very scary time. There's a lot going on with AI at the moment, especially in terms of the like visuals generation and that kind of thing. I think it's important to recognize that people still want to see films made by people and have a good time at the cinemas.
I think it's going to be difficult initially, that's from like from the industry point of view, because the people who are in charge of these companies that make films, they're business people, they're not film creative necessarily. So they're going to flirt with this idea of AI being this great money saver.
Could AI make graduates struggle to find work?
Graduates could struggle to find work because of AI, but I think it just means that we need to be a bit smarter in terms of how we find jobs and the kind of things that we're looking for. I think that there's obviously still jobs available. It's just where you find those jobs might have changed a little bit.
How much merit do you think there is to using AI in creative spaces? And is there a way it could be used without sacrificing creative integrity?
In a creative way, it's this cool, funky tool, a bit like, I can make funny pictures of my family and friends. I think it has a niche appeal.
I would say you should be able to use it, but not primarily put all your faith in AI, because sometimes it can be wrong, and sometimes it can it'd be all right to ask it questions, and that you come up primarily with the idea and then ask that for maybe some advice or something like that, I think.
How do you think the rise of streaming services impacts the industry? Should the cinema be promoted instead?
I love the cinema. I think it's always going to be the best way to see a film, is the most exciting. I think seeing a film with a group of strangers in a dark room it's just the best always. Streaming isn't a bad thing though. I think people often think that having streaming services means that you're never able to see films in cinemas. It's going to completely ruin everything, but it does make it more accessible.
I think it's a negative trend that we don't go to the cinema more. But I think there's a problem of people not going to the cinema at a young age and being taught how to behave in a cinema. The last few times I've been, the phones come out when they get bored, they start chatting, they put the phones on loudspeaker. I mean, you see that everywhere, but they also do it in the cinema because no one's told them to not do it. And so going to the cinema just isn't a pleasant experience because you're paying quite a lot of money to go, and there's a gamble as to whether or not you're going to be with somebody that can't shut up. Enjoy it. Which is bad because I think the cinema is the most ideal experience. You've got the best sound in there. You're going to have the best picture. I've got a decent TV and a surround sound system at home, but it can't compete with what the cinema can do. So I think it's negative that we do watch things more on Netflix and streaming. But I'm as guilty as everyone else because I don't want to go to the cinema and waste some money on it being a noisy room.
I think it's a positive because you're able to watch films at home. It's a lot easier for people if they can't always get to the cinema. And I think they're a lot cheaper than obviously going to the cinema. so people can afford them a lot more, and you can keep watching them once you brought it. But the cinema, it's like a way of bringing everyone together. It's a nice like atmosphere. Like when something happens in the film, everyone reacts at the same time. You get everyone's reactions. So it's nice to bring all that same community together. But they are starting to raise prices, so it is expensive to go a lot of the time.
What is the impact of the film industry on the environment? It's a big question.
As with most industries, the film industry has an impact on the environment. And I think there's just ways to mitigate that as much as possible. There's things like the Albert certification and tracker that productions can have. That kind of just helps limit the amount of like CO2 that productions are producing. There's a lot of... I've seen on shoots that I've been on recently, there's kind of less and less physical scripts, and people are more focused on having scripts on an iPad or something.
It's getting better every time. I find a lot more sets. There's that notion of, okay, we're not doing this because we're trying to be more sustainable. The biggest change I've seen is that we always used to be crates and crates of bottled water, and now it's either we've bought these bottles for you with the film logo on or whatever, or please bring your own because we aren't providing water bottles, which I think is fair enough. Some might argue that a lot of films do it as lip service. Look how sustainable we're being, but it doesn't matter if they do it as lip service. The fact that they're doing it is important. The reason why, whether it's a tax break or just to look good or whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that they're doing it.
I'd say a lot of programs now, after learning about sustainability here, you can see at the end they have the Albert certificate, which shows that they're like a lot of people are trying to push for a sustainable environment. But I still think there's a lot of big companies that don't really see what's going on and don't really want to put into it.
The film industry is a turbulent environment, plagued with instability and uncertainty. But for many, the excitement and the opportunity involved in creating cinema outweighs the drawbacks. Local organisations like Lounge Trip work towards engaging young people with films, opening up opportunities for filmmakers and lovers of film to get invested in the medium. Is that fine?
Cut. Job well done.
Love it.